guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bree if you are new here, and in today's video I am going to be giving you an update on my project pan basket. Basically, it is a basket of a full face of products that I have pulled to the side with the express intent of using them, really focusing on using them up, getting a good use out of them. These are products that I use pretty much every day that I am not filming content, so it's at least 2 to 3 times a week depending on the week. But I have been working on this basket since probably about January, like mid to end of January. So I've definitely made some progress. I've definitely made some changes to what is in this basket. So I want to give you guys an update, do another tutorial using all of the products that I have, and just chatting and hanging out. So if you guys are interested in seeing where I am in my project pan journey, then just keep on watching. One of the first little changes that I this wasn't actually technically in my project pan. I was using it every single day, but now it's in my project pan because I used something else. I'm going to start off by putting on the Too Faced Lip Injection Lip Balm. This is still just a little bit more milky than I like, and I have a different lip plumper that I wear now, but we're going to use it up because I have it, so I might as well. Before I jump into my makeup, I want to start off with what is in this bag, which is everything that I have either finished or, in really focusing on using it, I've decided that I fucking don't like it and I need it to go. So that's what's in this basket. And then kind of as I'm doing my makeup, I will show you guys what I replaced it with. But first things first, since you guys just saw it, I'll show you both of these at the same time. I have gotten in the habit of every single Sunday I sanitize make a list and I write down all the palettes that I use throughout the week, and I sanitize all of those, and then every Sunday I alternate, like, is it pressed powder, bronzer, blush, highlight, and I literally sit down and I wipe them all down and I spray them with rubbing alcohol and I let them dry, and I wipe off packaging on the inside and outside, everything. Okay, anyways, where I'm going with that is literally this past Sunday I was doing that and I was sitting right here. I was sitting right here in this chair, and I had my tables in front of me, but my tables were being used to sanitize things, and so I had taken the products that I had already sanitized and I had them sitting up back here open, letting them dry while I was digging around and sanitizing other stuff and just hanging out and whatever. Anyways, Lola, that fucking bitch, decided that she wanted to jump up onto the couch. And luckily she only hit 2 products, and luckily they were both things that were in my project pan. She did not hit anything else, but she did hit the Anastasia the ABH Nicole Glow Kit, and she also hit my Pure Bronze and Brighten. There is just giant chunks taken out of them, and if I'm being honest with you, I was already so close to being done with them, like so close to being done. This was the only shade, and even then this shade is still a little bit too dark for me, so I was making use out of it because I needed to, but like I decided that I would rather just get rid of them because I know where her paws go, like in the litter and stuff. So they're going. It's fine. I have so much fucking makeup. I don't need to hold on to something and like go out of my way to clean it when I could just move on. So those are gone. It breaks my heart to lose the Pure Bronze and Brighten because I do really love that one as a blush topper, and I think the highlight's really pretty, but I have other products that are similar enough that I can make it work. Moving on. As for products that I did actually, she put her little dirty ass paw in this as well. This is the e.l.f. Primer Infused Bronzer in Forever Sunkissed. She dug her claw in it as well, and also this was just kind of getting to the point where like the outside edges were almost hard panned. It was getting really hard to work with. that one's going as well. But everything else is genuinely, it's either something that I was trying and I realized I didn't like it, or I legitimately finished it. When it comes to the 2 products that I did legitimately finish, or 3 products that I did legitimately finish, I'm not going to talk about them too much because I'm still just going to toss them in my empties and give you guys full reviews then. But I did finish up one of the ABH eye primers, which is awesome. I finished up the Milani Peach Under Eye Brightener, and I also finished up the AOA Studios Liquid Concealer. So all of that has been replaced, and then I have 3 more things in this bag, which are products that I just decided I don't need them, you know? First things first is this Too Faced Do You Translucent Radiant Pearl fucking glowy setting powder. I have a different shade of this that I fucking adore. This one in the Translucent Radiant Pearl, it's just like not glowy enough, and it's also like too ashy, and it has like a pink reflect to it. So it just doesn't, you know, it just doesn't do what I want it to do. So I just decided that it was time for it to go. I have other glowy products that I use in the same way as this that I don't need to keep this. I don't need to force myself to use it. I'm gonna be really sad when the other one runs out because it is, the product doesn't exist anymore, but it's besides the point. This is actually relatively newer to me. This came in my most recent Ulta haul, and honestly, when I tried it, I am pretty much immediately was like, oh, this is just gonna go in my project pan, because I wasn't going to use this enough as a standalone product for me to justify like having it in my palette drawers. And honestly, I never fucking reached for it. The only shade that I ever really reached for was this one, just to set my brow bone. And as I was using it, I just kind of decided that I am going to be going through my backup drawers and my my donate like drawer that I have in the closet. I'm gonna go through all of that with you guys on camera, and I'm going to finally, I've been putting it off forever, I'm going to finally set up a box to send to Project Beauty Share, and this is something that would be perfect to go into that. So you're gonna go all the way over there so you can go in the closet. And then last but not least, I feel like I had kind of expressed that I wasn't thrilled about this product. Lola, you don't need to play with it. I feel like I had kind of expressed to you guys, please hold. As I was putting that in that basket, I realized I might as well just toss that Too Faced Do You in there as well. There's no reason for me not to donate that. It's almost completely like unused, so haven't used it that much. Anyways, back to the last product that was in that little bag. I feel like I had kind of talked about the fact that I wasn't really thrilled with this product when I put it in my project pan basket, which, to be honest with you, I need to not fucking hate pan shit. Honestly, if I don't like it, I should not force myself to use it in my project pan. I need to just cut my loss and be done. But this was something that I was definitely like hate panning, and I finally hit a point where I couldn't do it anymore, and I was like, it's time for it to go. This is the Too Faced Lumi Bronze It. This is in the shade Light. It's honestly broken. It's broken. This product was so hit or miss for me. Sometimes it would be great, and other times it would just get patchy and like stick weird in certain places, and it would just like, it was always a guessing game. It was always a guessing game for me as to whether or not it was going to look good on my face that day. So, and I didn't like that because, you know, bronzer is like solidly in the middle. Like my eye's done, my eyeshadow's done, but like and my base is on, but like I'm doing like my cheek products, and it's like solidly in the middle. And like I don't want my face to be fucked up halfway through doing my makeup, and it's just I didn't like playing that game. So I had pulled it out. I had replaced it with that e.l.f. primer infused bronzer because it was already getting so close to being done. I was like, I need to just finish this bitch up. And then Lola said, well, you're fucking done with it anyway. So I've now replaced it with something else in this basket. We can now move on, and I will discuss with you kind of my updated feelings on stuff that I still have in the basket that I've had from the get-go. Chat with you about the stuff that I have updated. But yeah, I'm gonna prime my eyes because I'm still using the ABH primer because I had a couple backups, and I'll zoom you guys in and I'll be right back. All right, eyeshadow. As for the primer, I do still really like that primer. I just don't love it as much as the paint pot, which is why I'm trying to get rid of it. Like, it's good. I'm not hate using it. It's just not as good as the paint pot. Anyways, eyeshadow. I still have my good old trusty Modern Renaissance in here. I have made quite the dent in a lot of shades, making quite a bit of effort. Just want to point out, by the way, this shade right here, Love Letter, no pigment to it whatsoever. This is the driest fucking feeling shade. Look at how much I'm rubbing my finger in here, okay? That's all you get. That's it. It's not, that shade will never get banned. But yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest with you here. Let me start my eyeshadow before I, just start chatting the fuck away. I'm gonna take a big fluffy brush, and I'm gonna learn how to fucking hold a palette on camera. I'm gonna take a big fluffy brush and I'm gonna dip into a Buon Fresco and start tossing that into my creasy space. Anyways, let me backtrack here. So, like I said earlier in this video, I did start doing my project pan towards the end of January, early February. I don't 100% remember. But literally in February, my mother-in-law came into town for a week, and I wasn't filming content then, and this was still so fresh to me that I was like, I want to use my project pan basket. I'm so excited. And then, like, literally 2 weeks after they left, my husband had surgery, which again, I wasn't really filming content for the first week, but I would still occasionally do makeup. It's just kind of like something to do, but also just something to something positive to focus my attention on. So between those two things, I completely burned myself out on the Modern Renaissance palette. So I ended up, I just got really severe palette fatigue. I was so bored of using it. And so I ended up pulling in a different palette, which I don't have in here anymore. It was one of my Z palettes that I had a bunch of depotted Colourpop shadows in. And that worked for a little while before I realized that I really was not enjoying using that product either, and that it needed to go. I did not enjoy having it in my collection. I needed to just pull out the pressed glitters that I had purchased that were in there, put that in a tiny palette, put that with my cream shadows, and just be done with those Z palettes that I was not using outside of content that required me to, when I was doing a palette throwback and it would come up, and it was still I was forcing myself to use it. And if I'm being honest with you, those videos never did well because it didn't have an exact product linked to it, if that makes sense. In this one, I can be like, this, project pan featuring Modern Renaissance, and that will do better than me just being a bunch of fucking single shadows from a bunch of palettes, whatever kind of thing. As bad as that sounds, not everything's focused on content, but regardless, I wasn't enjoying using the product. So I decided to just let it go, and I wanted to pull something else into my project pan that made sense to work with Modern Renaissance, but was fresh and new, but also was something that was older in my collection that just needed to be let go, not be let go, but just something that needed to have more attention focused on it. And so I brought in the ABH Norvina Palette. This was, I've put a little bit more dent into these two shades right here, but this was pretty much how it looked when I pulled it in. I haven't done too much more work on it. So that is where we are at. Those are the two products that I am using on my eyes. Also still have my random duplicate Colourpop, Super Shock, and Birthday Wish. Also just want to point out, by the way, the shimmers in the Norvina palette are so much better than the shimmers in the Modern Renaissance palette, like by a fucking long shot. Anyways, I'm going to take a smaller fluffy brush and I'm going to dip into Soul and start building that up on my outer corner. The only thing that I really dislike about this palette in particular is the fact that Soul is such like a blue purple, like periwinkle shade, and this is such a warm purple. They don't really they don't work together at all. I say that, but I'm going to be using the pink shimmer today with this purple, so. But yeah, having the Norvina palette, I've had it in here for maybe a week or two, so it hasn't been a super long time. And I do have a feeling that eventually I will get palette fatigue again, and I will either want to bring in a third palette, or maybe by then I will decide that I'm completely done with Modern Renaissance and I'll bring in a different to go with Norvina, or maybe I'll decide I'm done with both of them and I'll say fuck it and I'll bring in something completely different. Who's to say how I will feel when that time comes? I'm not going to force myself to continue to use something if I'm just like really, really over it, especially something like Modern Renaissance, which, let's be honest, I've had this shit since 2016. It is ancient. Next up, I'm going to take a fluffy brush and I'm going to dip into Love, and I'm going to kind of focus that a little bit more on my inner corner. As of right now, I am pleased. I like the way that these two palettes work together. They definitely have a lot of complementing shades between the cool tones and the warm tones, so I have a lot of variety of looks, which is good. And I'm going to also be honest with you, there was a period of time last month, I want to say. No, in March. In March or April? I don't fucking know. There was a period of time recently where I had purchased 2 new palettes, and I really just wanted to play in those palettes. I wasn't filming content for them, but I just wanted to play in those new palettes. So I used those palettes, but I used everything else in my project pan basket. So I was still getting good use, but I just kind of, you know, shook it up. And that might be something that I do a little bit more in the future, where I just kind of put the palettes that are in here off to the side for a little bit and just kind of let myself play a little bit more. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where the world takes me. One thing I've been wanting to try, and I'm literally just I'm gonna say fuck it and do it right now. I'm gonna take Birthday Wish and I'm gonna put it on the open space on my lids and use it almost as a base, because I feel like sometimes these shimmer shades can either get a little bit chunky because they're thicker, or they end up not having the impact that I want them to, because some of them are thinner than the others. There's a very varying range of shade, like shimmer types between these two palettes. So I want to kind of use this as a base and just see how that looks. This isn't like a formal fucking tutorial or anything. I'm literally just playing with makeup and chatting with you guys about the makeup. So, and if this works as a good shimmer base, it'll be a good way for me to actually get more use out of it than just, like, I mean, this is cute. This is fine. I could totally leave it just like this. But I want the pink. So next up, I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to go into Wild Child, which is just one of the ones that's a little bit thinner and not quite as impactful as the rest of the shades in the palette are. So I want to see if placing it over the Super Shock is going to kind of amp it up. See, I feel like that did what I wanted it to do, that's good. That makes me happy. I'm going to go put on a little bit of a wing and kind of get myself ready to do the rest of my makeup, but I'm going to do everything with you guys on camera because I have it all. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm just going to run through what I have in front of me for my base, and then I'm just going to I'm going to do it on camera, but I'm just going to speed you guys through it pretty quick, but I don't need to talk about everything. I'm still working on my Becca. I do have very, very little left in here. I have a fully unopened full-size backup. I am trying to decide, and I need to make that decision before I finish this, if I want to pull a product that I already have opened, put that in here, and then just donate the unopened one. That is kind of what I'm leaning towards. I have so many products that are similar to this, so I'm kind of leaning towards just donating that. It's completely unused, unopened. I need to just be done with it. As much as it hurts me that Becca doesn't exist anymore, Smashbox literally released that exact same product, so I could get it if I need to, but I have other products that are very similar, if not better. Anyways, I pulled in the Milani Supercharged Brightening Under Eye Tint. This one's a little bit less peachy than the one that I finished, but still very, very similar in texture, quality, finish. Not my favorite, not bad, but just not my favorite. Still working on my Neutrogena Radiant Cream Concealer. This I'm using as acne coverage. I don't use this underneath my eyes because it's a little bit too deep for underneath my eyes. And then as for foundations, still working on the Morphe Filler Effect Soft Focus. My opinions on all of this stuff are pretty much still the same. Still working on the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream in Light 210N. As you can see, I am getting very close to being done with this. I did end up pulling in Fair 120N because I was noticing that the tone of this really, really overtakes whatever else I'm using, and it was making everything too deep. So I wanted to be able to kind of go 50-50 on this and then still mix in a little bit of the filler effect just to use it all up. I still have the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. This one's in Porcelain. It is too deep and too yellow to use for in my under eyes, but it does work as like a really quick, really fast, like just put a couple dots on my face and just like blend it in really quickly. It does work really well for that. I have also been like literally unscrewing it and like putting it on my palette, like a couple blobs of it, and then mixing it in with the e.l.f. too. That's probably what I'm gonna do today. And then last but not least, I have the L'Oreal Full Wear Concealer. This one is in Porcelain. It is far too light for me, but it's almost done, so I'm just trying to finish it before it becomes full-blown summer and it's like, and I start to get a little bit more color on my skin, and then it's like too deep, you know? Powders, still the same. The AOA Studios Translucent Powder and the Wet n Wild Translucent Powder. And I did pull in this powder as well. This is the No. 7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Finishing Powder. I accidentally purchased light medium. It's a little bit too deep for me, but with the way that the translucent powders kind of wash out my skin a little bit, this works. I just have to be very kind of careful about where I put it because it is just a smidge too deep for me. Just a smidge. And then last but not least, I did pull in the Physicians Formula Bitter Butter Illuminating Powder. This one is also just a little bit too ashy. I do have to be pretty sparing with how I use it, but honestly, once it gets blended in, it's not so bad. I'm already putting it on top of a face powder that's a little bit too deep for me, so it kind of counteracts it a little bit. It all works in the end. But yeah, I'm gonna just I'm gonna zoom you guys out just a little bit because I'm feeling a little bit close. Just a smidge too close. But I'm gonna just kind of honestly turn on this video that I was watching and speed you guys through me doing my base, and then we will join back together for cheek products. Alright, so now that that is all done, I do like the way that my skin, like, looks when I do this makeup. It's not like it's bad or anything like that. And it's just quick and easy, and I'm getting use out of products that I tend to not gravitate towards. Alright, so after several iterations of bronzer changes, I now have the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, like little limited edition palette with these little teeny tiny ones. This is a little bit warmer than I would like to use with this look, but we're just gonna roll with it. I do also still have the little AOA Studios Perfect Blush in here, which I have used as a bronzer. Kind of a little bit redundant considering how warm all of the shades in this bronzer palette are, but it was not seeing any use in my regular like collection, so it's gonna stay. I'm just going in with light bronzer at the moment. Typically in my regular full size one I have bronzer, which isn't as warm as light bronzer. I also feel like this one is a little bit more powdery than the regular like just butter bronzer. And then I'm just gonna dip in just a little bit into Sunset Bronzer, the middle shade, and just kind of work that on the very back here. So yeah, it gets the job done, and it's definitely something that, like, I don't ever reach for this because I already have my butter bronzer. It'll also be easier for me to go through because they are very tiny palettes. Very tiny pans, I should say. The deepest shade, Endless Summer, first of all, I don't know who the fuck I was when I purchased that, but like, I don't know, maybe I'll just use it occasionally as like a one shadow shade or something. I can tell you that I have a feeling that once I get through the at least light bronzer shade, I more than likely will probably just get rid of it, because as for blush has not changed at all. I still have my Flower Beauty Flower Pots blush in Peach Primrose. I now have a hair tie holding it shut because the lid just was everywhere. But I'm not going to use that one today because I don't want such a warm blush. The word escaped me there for a second. I'm going to go in with the Essence blush in Befitting. I did find, though, that if I take, again, obviously not going to do it today because the color just wouldn't really work, but having both of those blushes open and taking my brush and bouncing back and forth between the two does create a very, very pretty color. And then for highlight, I brought in an oldie but a goodie. This is the Pixie Beauty Rach Loves Layers palette. This is what it looks like right here. You can see that I recently cleaned it, but it just kind of smeared around the things. So super gorgeous. Honestly, I don't know how much I'm going to use the shade Zipper. I could see myself getting a little bit of use out of it. Maybe I'll actually put that on my inner corner today. Maybe that's probably how I will use it the most. And same with Knit. Knit is, again, just a little bit too deep for me. I am completely down to try layering it with some of the brighter shades just to see if I can get some use out of it. But I feel like if I can get 3.5 to 4 of these panned, then I'll be super happy. Love the shade Lace. It's a good cool tone shade, which will work well for the cooler tone looks. And then Tea is definitely a little bit more warm tone, super pretty. And then Clutch is a good, just like, can go either way. But overall, just a really, really pretty, gorgeous palette. But definitely quite a bit older in my collection, so it should get some use. But yeah, I'm gonna actually take Zipper and put that on my inner corner, because why not? Zipper always stood out as being such a weird addition to this palette for me. I never quite understood why it was here. But on the bright side, this tone will work with quite a bit of the looks. Most of the looks that I can, not most, but quite a bit of the looks that I do, at least with like the Norvina palette. It'll work well with these purpley, pinky shades, so cute. Okay. And then I'm actually just gonna go in with Clutch, the kind of more neutrally shade. All right, really quick before I jump off and do everything except for lips, I'm gonna not put this on yet because I do it after I've sprayed like my hydrating sprays on. I don't want to do it quite yet, but this is the Revolution, Makeup Revolution, just like fucking brow gel. It was clear at one point, but I was putting this on for a while after I put on like my pen or my pencil or my pomade, whatever the fuck I was using at the time. So it is dyed. Honestly, this is so just like bland to me, and so just like I'm just using it just to use it up. It's not bad, but it's not like, it's not good. So I'm gonna go do everything except for lips, and I'll be back to finish up this look. All right, so I did already go ahead and do my lips, honestly, because as I was waiting for my lash glue to dry, I just out of habit put on my lip liner, and then I was like, wait, now I look ridiculous with just lip liner on, and then like the rest of my lips were naked. So I did my lips, but I will show you guys what I have in here. 3 of them are still in here, and I've added 2 since then. So what I have on my lips right now is this, also came from my most recent haul. This is a little Ulta Beauty Shiny Sheer lip gloss. It doesn't have a shade or anything. It's just this like very light pink shade. It's cute. Again, it was another one of those things that just came in that bag that I looked at it and I was like, this is gonna go directly into my project pan because it's so small that if I were to try to carry this around on like a regular basis, I would fucking lose it. So it's really tiny, easy to finish up, so it just went into my project pan. It's not bad by any means, but just easy to finish up. Same with this Ilia Balmy Gloss Tinted Lip Oil. I'm not obsessed with this. I never really was. I've had it for a little while. It does kind of like, when you have it on your lips, it can kind of like, the pigment can kind of shift to your lip line a little bit more than like actually stay evenly coated across your lips. So it tends to be something that I'll just kind of like toss on and then let it hydrate my lips and just kind of like get it off once it starts moving around, and then like that's that. It kind of almost works more so like once all of my face is done, like you know how you just have like that little bit of like makeup left over on your lips, and I'll just kind of toss this on, and then once it's ready to come off, it'll come off and my lips are clean and not have like foundation left behind on them. And then the 3 things that are still in my project pan bag from before, the NYX Shout Loud Satin Lipstick in the shade Silk. I mean, I've done some work on this. This is really all that I have left. I absolutely love this lipstick, and I do 100% intend to repurchase this once I finish it up. Again, it was just one of those things that's like, it was a good lipstick for me to put in because it's the right tone that I needed on a regular basis, and it's already getting close to being done, so why not finish it up? And then maybe once I finish up a little bit, something else, some other options. You know how like when your mom would buy a brand new box of cereal, but you already had cereal open, and she was like, you have to finish that cereal before you can open a new box, and then she'd get really mad because you would open the new box anyway because the new cereal sounded really good. Or was that just me? Anyways, once I finish up Silk, I'm gonna finish up some other stuff before I go out and purchase a new one, but I do fully intend to repurchase Silk. And then I also have the About Face Light Lock Lip Gloss in Such Great Heights. It's a really, really pretty lip gloss. It is a little bit more metallic than I sometimes would like, but it's pretty and it gets the job done and it feels good on my lips and it smells really good. And then last but not least, I actually do need to smell this because I have 2 Wet n Wild lipsticks back here that they are now permanently decor items because A, they're cute, but also because they went bad. See, this one smells fine. But this is the Wet n Wild Mega fucking, you know, it doesn't have an actual name. It's the lipstick, but it's the matte version. So this is like my cooler lipstick option as opposed to Silk being my warmer lipstick option. You know, gotta have the choices. But yeah, that's that. I think that my makeup look turned out really, really cute today. Very simple, of course, but it wasn't, again, I wasn't going for like a crazy tutorial. I was just going for a, hey, this is the makeup that I am in the process of working on finishing. This is how far I've gotten, you know, and let's do some makeup together and just hang out kind of thing. And I'm pleased. I'm very pleased. I am so thrilled to have my makeup done to go clean my house. Like, why am I wearing a lip gloss to clean my house? Who's to fucking say? Will I probably wipe the lip gloss off the second I am done filming? Absolutely. Anyways, it's gonna wrap up today's video. I hope that you guys had so much fun. Comment down below and let me know if you are working on panning stuff right now and what it is that you're trying to pan. I would love to know. Please subscribe if you have not already. It would mean the world to me. Like this video, ring the bell, do all the things. I hope that you guys have an awesome, awesome day, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!